have a seat and let's get right to it. My first guest has made headlines this week when it was reported that he was an FBI informant in their war against the mafia. He is an activist, a preacher, author, former presidential candidate, and television host on MSNBC, live via satellite. Ladies and gentlemen, from New York, please welcome the Reverend Al Sharpton. My old friend, Reverend Al Sharpton. They're using the term confidential informant number 7 in the public this week. You are always number 1 in my heart, sir. And our hearts, confidential informant number 1 to us.
Well, I think, first of all, I don't accept the whole premise of the story, but I do accept that we had the right to fight the mob. What happened is that in the 80s, the mob controlled the music industry. And when I, at a youth group at that time, began challenging some of the concert promotion and others, a guy came from out in Los Angeles and threatened me. I called some federal agents who had months before tried to come after me in a boxing investigation that went nowhere, tried to scare me. I said, these are the kinds of things you ought to check. And we went after these guys. So now they come 31 years later, as the president and all of us are out getting ready for the midterm elections, and try to act like, oh, he's an informant. If you threaten me and I call the cops, I'm not snitching on you. I'm your victim. I'm not your partner. You can only snitch on people you're down with. And I think that this is absurd. But let me tell you something. If I were snitching on the mob, then I was snitching when I went to the feds with Trayvon Martin's parents saying, look at that case. That's right now. Kendrick Johnson right now. We are not thugs and gangsters. We do not have the obligation to protect people that are trying to hurt us and break the law. And we shouldn't apologize about that.
So, Reverend Sharpton, yes. So, I mean, in the past, I've seen you write about cooperating with authorities. And right. So what's new here is Smoking Gun has added some additional facts, or as they say, facts that we don't know about. Is that why the flames have been fanned again?
No, I think the reason that they're fanning the flames is National Action Network, my organization. Today, President Obama spoke there. 2 days ago at our national convention, Attorney General Holder did, and they're trying to distract people with a 31-year-old story and say, oh, here's some new documents about something that we put out years ago. First of all, if I said that I was a bad guy 31 years ago, but now I've changed, who would be mad? So what are we talking about? They're saying, no, I didn't do nothing wrong in the first one. Oh, they tried to flip me, and I say they didn't. Then in this one, they're not denying anything. So what are we talking about? 31 years ago, Arsenio hadn't even told his first joke yet. So why are we all up in arms?
As I look at Reverend Al Sharpton, the biggest crime is he looks so good here, and they're bringing out all the old pictures from when he was heavy.
Now, that's bad. I think that's embarrassing. I think the least they could do is show the new me.
Oh, gosh. Hey, there is one new thing in the Smoking Gun article that I wanted to ask you about. Was there really like a briefcase with a microphone in it?
You're talking 31 years ago. I don't even remember how we were trying to get the guys that threatened me on tape, and then they were talking all this gangster talking about things in the industry. So I don't even remember how all of it went down. We're talking 31 years ago. This happened in '83.
Hey, by the way, Reverend, I remember sitting in a dressing room with you and James Brown at a show called Solid Gold. That was when all this began, right?
Yeah, and James Brown and a lot of artists never got paid, never was treated right, because the mob used to control that industry and people would get beat out their money, their royalties. And when I stand up and say, wait a minute, you threaten me, I'm going to try to do something about it, I'm the bad guy. When have you ever heard of somebody being wrong for going and trying to stop mobsters? I should get a ticker-tape parade.
Okay, so Reverend, all that being said, are you afraid today?
I'm afraid not to stand up for what's right. If you're going to do what's right, you're going to do what's right. Young people should not be afraid to stand up and talk about gun violence and anything going on in their community. You're not a snitch, you're a good citizen.
That's different than the way I was brought up. We need to teach kids that. Let's talk about your convention. You were with Barack Obama today.
Barack Obama, the president, was at our convention. He spoke, keynoted today's session about voting rights. We're concerned that in various states, they're cutting back on early voting days. They're cutting back on Sunday, go to the polls. They're saying now you need government photo ID. Well, we're all for ID, but why do we need special ID now that millions of people don't have? We always had ID to vote. Let's use the ID we always use. The same ID we had when Reagan ran and Bush ran. Why do we get to Obama now? We need new ID. So we are out there dealing with these vote ID laws, but we're also going to be rallying people to vote in these midterm elections because we need jobs, bills, we need infrastructure, and we cannot let them try in any way impede us from voting.
You can see Politics Nation with Al Sharpton weeknights at 6 p.m. on MSNBC. Please thank Undercover Brother for me. Ladies and gentlemen, Al Sharpton. Thank you, sir. I'll see you in the afro.